This is the QTV Nightly News, which is also on Q Radio 103.3 FM, and I am Jacqueline Collier. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. Following days of uncertainty after last weekend's presidential election, the military in Guinea-Bissau appeared to have staged a coup d'etat. President Barrow is in Tangier, Morocco, where he is attending the high-level Middays International Forum, one of Africa's leading platforms for dialogue on global development, diplomacy, and economic cooperation. Following President Adama Barrow's visit to inspect ongoing works at the UTG Faraba Banta Campus Lot 2 as part of his ongoing Meet the People tour on Saturday, we spoke with the Minister of Higher Education and the UTG Vice-Chancellor about the project. The Minister of Higher Education, Professor Pergamens, officially inaugurated the National Madrasah Board today, marking an important step in reforming Islamic education in the Gambia. In international news, after intense negotiations, COP30 ended in Belém with all 195 parties adopting the Belém package, a major deal that triples adaptation, finance, and strengthens support for vulnerable communities. Those were the headlines and other news in detail. Following days of uncertainty after last weekend's presidential election, the military in Guinea-Bissau have staged a coup d'etat. The situation is a rapidly changing one, and Ade Drame tells us what we know so far.
Following last weekend's election, which both the incumbent, Umaro Sissoko Embalo, and his main opponent, Fernando Diaz da Costa, claimed to have won, the country's army has now stepped in and announced that it has taken control. We contacted a journalist in the capital, Bissau, who spoke to us on the condition of anonymity, and this is what he told us.
The situation is calm for the meantime. It started at 12 when a group of soldiers has attacked the electoral committee, electoral commission. But and also we hear some shouting just close to the State House. And then at 4 o'clock, the army announced that the president is arrested, and with the chief commander of the army and also the minister of interior. In this moment, the soldiers are just really controlling all the situation. All the streets going to the State House as under the control of the soldiers. And also they make a communique explaining that there is a high military committee for restitution of order has been set to get the control of to manage the country, and also they announced that all the borders are closed, and also the medias also will be closed, and there is a curfew from 7 p.m. up till 6 a.m. This is the situation we are facing. About the head of state, we hear that he's arrested and is under the control of the soldiers. But the military that didn't just announce or indicate the name of the leader of the coup. This is a problem. The capital is quiet. The center of the capital is quiet. There is no circulation. People are just at home, and also all is under the control of the military. We didn't know. We are supposed to have the results of the election tomorrow, but if there is a coup one day before, this it become a matter of burning concern for us. Thinking to what is done in the country and what we are expecting for tomorrow, really we are worried about.
We will bring you more on this developing story as we get it. For QTV News, I am Ade Darame.
President Adama Barrow is in Tangier, Morocco, where he is attending the high-level Middays International Forum, one of Africa's leading platforms for dialogue on global development, diplomacy, and economic cooperation. Alosise reports.
President Barrow, accompanied by Lady Sajimbalo Barrow and delegation, arrived in Tangier to participate in the 17th edition of the 2025 Medias Forum, an annual global gathering that brings together more than 250 high-level speakers, including heads of state, policymakers, business leaders and experts from Africa, Asia and Europe to discuss pressing geopolitical and economic issues. Under the theme, Fractures and Polarization, Reinventing the Global Equation, This year's forum focuses on Africa's evolving role in global governance, sustainable development, and the future of regional cooperation. President Barrow is expected to share the Gambia's perspectives on economic transformation, democratic governance, and regional security. His participation also aims to strengthen bilateral ties between the Gambia and Morocco in diverse areas, and also hold meetings with development partners to explore new opportunities for collaboration and investment. The Media's Forum continues to grow as a major platform for African leadership on global issues. This marks President Barrow's third overseas trip since April, reflecting a notable reduction in his international travel schedule. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
As part of his ongoing Meet the People tour, President Adama Barrow on Saturday visited ongoing works at the UTG Faraba Banta Compost Lot 2. Ansumane Sonyasi spoke with Minister of Higher Education and the UTG's Vice Chancellor, both of whom expressed optimism that the work will be completed within the agreed time frame.
These new facilities, once completed, will house the Chancery and Agricultural Laboratories, the first of its kind in the country, designed to enhance and expand the quality of agricultural education in the Gambia. As President Barrow inspected the construction progress and assessed the readiness of the buildings, the Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, along with Professor Herbert Robinson, Vice Chancellor of the University of the Gambia, expressed satisfaction with the level of work completed so far. They highlighted the significant impact the two facilities are expected to have on the university's daily operations, noting that the agricultural labs will strengthen practical training and research, while the Chancery will improve administrative efficiency. Both officials described the President's visit as a moral booster for workers at the sites, reinforcing the government's commitment to advancing higher education infrastructure in the country.
The Faculty of Law, and they were going to have their moot court, and also the School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences with 14 laboratories that they're going to have, which they did not have before, and then also with the 7-story Chancery building that is going to house the admin block.
So that the students can not only learn agriculture from a theoretical perspective. For the first time, they will have the opportunity to use modern equipment to do whatever test they need in the agricultural field. In the Faculty of Law, a unique feature there is what they call the moot court. If you are training to be a lawyer, there's always a space there, which is sort of a court, so that they can practice.
Furthermore, they noted that the President's visit underscores the government's sustained commitment to strengthening the country's higher education infrastructure. They added that once completed and fully operational, the two facilities, notably the agricultural laboratories, will significantly transform the University of the Gambia by boosting research capacity, enhancing practical learning, and advancing the institution's long-term development objectives.
This is going to be a game changer because that's going to help create access and create opportunities also, and have access to quality learning, teaching and learning for the university community, and then sending the signal for Faraba Banta campus to be the powerhouse, to be the education hub, not only for the Gambia but for the sub-region.
I think this is going to add a lot to the university's capacity to be able to deliver quality education. Now, for the Chancery building, you've seen it's a magnificent building, a 7-story building, and we believe that it will be able to accommodate the university administration, and the university administration, if you like, is the support structure, is the backbone of the university. So we are really delighted as a university, and we want to thank our Chancellor, His Excellency President Barrow.
As anticipation grows for the completion of construction works at the UTG Faraba campus, President Barrow expressed satisfaction with the quality of work ongoing in Lot 2, which comprises several key schools, notably the Faculty of Law, the School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, and the Chancery building. Answane Nyase for QTV News.
The Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Professor Pergamens, officially inaugurated the National Madrasah Board today, marking an important step in reforming Islamic education in the Gambia. Alusisa again.
واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا.
The inauguration of the board is part of a long-term strategy to integrate madrasah and majalis graduates into mainstream tertiary and higher education frameworks. The board includes Chairperson Pasamba Balde, representatives of Amana, UTG, Mohast, MOPSI, Islamic scholars and leaders of key madrasas. The board will provide a policy direction and also oversee the implementation of the Madrasah Integration Strategy 2025-2029, which provides a structured and nationally accepted pathway for integrating madrasa and majlis graduates into tertiary and higher education, particularly in TVET, apprenticeship and STEM programs. Minister Professor Per Gomez said the board reinforces a national vision where madrasa learners are recognized, supported and empowered, while preserving the country's Islamic values and opening doors to innovation, employability and socio-economic development.
I've just returned from Dubai last week. You see signs everywhere. You cannot tell me they did not do Islamic studies, they did not do Arabic. Go to Saudi Arabia. You see signs everywhere. Go to Egypt, go to everywhere. You see how comes that in the Arab world you have signs, Tibet, in their day-to-day activities. And in the Gambia here, we don't. So we need to rectify this.
Permanent Secretary Jennifer Jang described the inauguration as a turning point in the revolution of the education sector. She said this demonstrates the government's commitment to equity and inclusion.
The board will lead the implementation of a comprehensive national reform agenda that includes curricular alignment with national education frameworks, including STEM, TVET, English literacy, and entrepreneurship. The
board's chairperson, Pasamba Bande, former head of WAEC National Office in Banjul, promised their readiness to live up to expectations.
The task at hand is formidable. As you know, curriculum generation or review is always a demanding task. However, the task is not beyond the combined expertise of the members of the board. I have no doubt that the array of expertise and profiles that make up the board is more than up to the multidimensional task at hand.
Imam Babali applauded Minister Professor Per Gomez for the ongoing reforms since his appointment.
Really, Mr. Minister, everybody will congratulate you. And let me tell you, the whole Gambian community as a nation appreciate your effort. Especially the Muslim community.
For many years, Madrasah and Majalis graduates have struggled to access formal education beyond secondary level. Their qualifications, often not aligned with the national curriculum, have limited entry into higher education. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
We will now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have more national and international news stories, so stay tuned.
Browse with us. QCell brings you a promo like never before. Get unlimited internet for just $25 Cs. Yes! Recharge $25 Cs and enjoy the convenience of free internet from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day with our Browse with Us promo. With this amazing offer, you can browse, stream, and download all your favorite movies for free. So why wait? Recharge $25 C today and enjoy free internet only with QCell between 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. For more information, call customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Bus, we innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or place your advert? Look no further than QTV. We are the premier destination for businesses looking to connect with Gambian audiences and beyond. At QTV, we offer a variety of advertising solutions to suit your needs and budget. With our diverse range of programming, you can be sure that your ad will reach a broad and engaged audience. From our popular news broadcast to our exciting music and entertainment programming, QTV has something for everyone. QTV, the premier destination for advertising in the Gambia. Contact us today and let us help you reach your audience.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. Now, senior law enforcement officials from around the world, including the Gambia's Inspector General of Police, Sidi Mukhtar Toure, are in Marrakech, Morocco for the 93rd Interpol General Assembly. The conference brings together police chiefs, ministers, and security experts from 179 countries to discuss global crime threats and strengthen cross-border cooperation. More in this report by Babakar Sise.
The four-day conference, scheduled from the 24th to the 27th of November, has drawn more than 800 delegates from 179 countries, including 82 police chiefs, making it the only global platform capable of uniting such a high-level law enforcement leadership. This year's assembly is taking place under the theme Connecting the World for a Safer Future. Delegates are expected to vote on major decisions, including Interpol's program of activities, strategic framework, and budget. They will also elect new members of the executive committee, including the president, as current mandate ends. The Inspector General of Police, Sidi Mukhtar Toure, held a series of high-level bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the 93rd Interpol General Assembly. His engagements included discussions with the Turkish Deputy Mission of Interior, Munir Karaloglu, focused on strengthening ongoing cooperation between the Gambia Police Force and Turkey's Ministry of Interior. IGP Toure also met with Lucas Philippe, the French candidate and Europe's sole nominee for the Interpol presidency, where the two explore avenues to deepen international cooperation and advance Africa's security and policing priorities within Interpol. The agenda for the 93rd Interpol General Assembly addresses key priorities, including disrupting transnational organized crime networks, dismantling international scam centers, strengthening global policing capabilities, advancing the role of women in policing, and promoting the ratification of the UN Convention Against Cybercrime. In a major announcement, Interpol introduced two new capabilities aimed at boosting information sharing and operational efficiency among member states. Nexus, a web-based messaging platform powered by artificial intelligence to structure and deliver police information more clearly, enabling frontline officers to access critical intelligence faster, and AVA, the organization's first AI virtual assistant for law enforcement, functioning exclusively within Interpol's protected cloud. It processes long or complex materials rapidly, offers instant translation, summarizes documents, and provides actionable insights. Delegates will also be briefed on the results of the Silver Notice pilot project aimed at enhancing the organization's ability to track and respond to environmental crimes and other emerging forms of transnational criminality. The Marrakech Assembly is once again serving as a pivotal forum for shaping the future of international law enforcement and building a safer, more connected world. Babakar Sise, QTV News.
The United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF handed over the renovated Neonatal Intensive Care Unit to the management of the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital in Banjul on Tuesday. Loriam Camara has more.
The Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, a critical and complex section of the hospital, was renovated by UNICEF at a cost exceeding $5 million. Dr. Chorna S. Jallo, Deputy Chief Medical Director at Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, EFSTH, shared details on the unit's condition before and after the renovation.
Before the renovation, the place had been leaking significantly. I wish you had come here before, especially when it rains. And then the place was something that looked like an eyesore. And then with the support from government, from UNICEF, and then other partners, and including the hospital, came up to support to change the roof, change the ceiling, change the electrical. Not only that, they went down at pediatric surgery ward where there was only one toilet, built 3 toilets there, also with a disabled toilet, and then also created a clinic for pediatric surgery patients. So this is what's happening now. And then we are in the building that's being renovated by all these partners that I mentioned.
Dr. Ndombosi Nwazuke, acting head of pediatrics and consultant pediatric neurologist at EFSTH, expressed gratitude to the hospital management and UNICEF for their enhanced coordination and support before making the following request.
Attention to time to that child. We don't even have one. And we are monitoring children who are 28 weeks, who can't breathe on their own. Their brain is not well developed. If you can only give us 5 apnea mattresses, if you can only give us 2 lamps for phototherapy, and you live here, we'll be very, very happy.
Dr. Aman Nyaure, Deputy UNICEF representative to the Gambia, expressed his satisfaction with the completed work and responded to the request made by the acting head of pediatrics.
Our way of operating is working on our work plan with the government, which is in which we agree on key priorities. So based on today's handing over ceremony and the request that came from the management of the Edward Francis Small Taking Hospital, we will sit, our management and the hospital management will sit along with the Ministry of Health to go through these priorities and identify the key areas where UNICEF support will be the most effective. And this in line with our engagement with the government of the Gambia.
Dr. Ahmadou Lamin Samate is the Gambia's Minister of Health.
UNICEF supported the renovation of this building. This building has been here for many decades, and naturally it was deteriorating, and then we needed to intervene. At that point, UNICEF said, well, we can support the government and the hospital to renovate this facility. But I must say, the government of His Excellency is very, very highly committed to healthcare service provision in this country.
The renovated neonatal ICU at EFSTH marks a significant milestone, promising improved care for newborns, strengthening the hospital capacity, and a lasting partnership between UNICEF, hospital management, and health authorities. For QTV News, Loli M. Kamara.
Up next is international news. After intense negotiations, COP30 ended in Belém with all 195 parties adopting the Belém package, a major deal that triples adaptation finance, among other demands. Negotiators say it is one of the strongest pushes towards implementation since the Paris Agreement. More on this report.
COP30 officially closed on Saturday with the adaptation of the Belém package, a collection of 29 decisions aimed at speeding up climate action across adaptation, finance, gender, technology, nature, and just transitions. COP30 President André Correa de Lago called on countries to view the agreement as the start of a new chapter. Key outcomes of COP30 include the commitment to triple adaptation finance by 2035, responding to long-standing demands from developing countries, and the launch of 2 major implementation tools, the Global Implementation Accelerator and the Belém mission to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Leaders also approved the creation of the Tropical Forest Forever facility, which has mobilized more than $6.7 billion to reward countries for conserving standing forests. Parties finalized 59 indicators under the Global Goal on Adaptation and adopted the Baku Adaptation Roadmap, which guides work through 2028. They also established a just transition mechanism centered on fairness, communities, and equity. The COP30 presidency introduced 2 Belém roadmaps, one to halt and reverse deforestation, and another to support countries transitioning away from fossil fuels in a fair and realistic way. Belém's COP was notably for elevating the human side of climate action, with record indigenous participation, the Belém Climate March, and new commitments on education, jobs, social protection, and health. Brazil will preside over the climate process until November 2026. Correa do Lago said the priority now is to strengthen cooperation, keep people at the center of climate policy, and accelerate implementation across all tracks. COP30 closes with a clear message. The world is entering a decade focused on delivery, credibility, and real impact. Reporting for KTV News, I am Jacqueline Cooley.
Also in international news, the 7th AU-EU summit kicked off in Angola on Monday, November 24th. revitalizing partnerships and cooperation between member states under the theme Promoting Peace, Prosperity through Effective Multilateralism. Mamna Buka has the rest of that story.
The two-day summit, which took place in Luanda, the capital city of Angola, marked a quarter-century of cooperation between AU-EU member states and sought to redefine future relations and strengthen strategic partnerships amid ongoing global challenges. Hosted by Angolan President João Lourenço, who co-chaired the event with European Council President Antonio Costa, the summit brought together nearly 80 heads of state and government to engage in discussions seeking to address shared challenges and opportunities across a range of priority areas. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, in her keynote address, highlighted that in this current confrontational global economy, Africa and Europe need each other more than ever before.
We both need to build the industries of tomorrow. We both need to make the most of our talent and resources and get rid of dangerous dependencies. The case for Africa and Europe to join forces is overwhelming. So let us find new ways in doing so. Let us walk this path together.
Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, centered trade relations as his talking point. He called for a more balanced trade partnership between Africa and Europe, citing that Africa's role as raw material supplier will soon come to an end, and instead become a key player in different stages of the global value chain.
I'm pleading for European investments in the transformation process of our minerals on the continent. I'm calling for the lifting of any tariff or non-tariff barrier hampering the access of African products to the European market. I'm finally calling for a stronger and more viable multilateralism based on equality, respect for all nations, and advancing the common vital global interest.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres called for reforms in international institutions, such as the UN Security Council and the global financial system, to achieve governance that is more representative, inclusive, and effective across the two continents.
The emerging reality offers an opportunity to ratify historic injustices and usher in a fairer, more equal system for countries long excluded from global decision-making.
In a joint declaration following the conclusion of the summit on the 25th, leaders declared support for African-led peace operations, access to electricity for at least 100 million people in Africa by 2030, promotion of academic exchanges such as the Erasmus+, and a balanced approach towards migration. The summit concluded with a commitment to a renewed mutually beneficial partnership for sustainable growth and stability, with the next summit scheduled to take place in Brussels. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
That's all for this news bulletin. Join us again at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for watching and bye.